العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وأعز المرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، سيما بقية الله روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا محمد يا حسن بن علي، صلى الله عليك وعلى روحك وبدنك الطاهر، صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة. غريب يا مظلوم كربلاء، سيدي ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمنا من لجأ إليكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز والله فوزا عظيما. ما مر ذكر المجتبى في مسمعي إلا استثار من المحاجر أدمعي. ريحانة الهادي ووارث علمه ووصيه بعد البطين الأنزعي. غدرت بي زمر وخانت عهده يا باع ولا إمام للمدعي. قد كان صام إلى الإله تقربا. يقول الراوين الإمام كان صائم يوم استشهاده. قد كان صام إلى الإله تقربا وأتته جعدته بالدعاء في المنقعي، ثم أنسقته فمزقت أحشاءه، ثم انسقته فمزقت أحشاءه وغدا يجود بكبد المتقطعين. لكنه لم يفرش امرؤ نحره والخيل ما داسته فوق الأضلع. لم يرفعوا فوق العوالي حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما. والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي محمد الإمام المجتبى صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our rewards and raise our status and make us amongst the real grieved and saddened ones that are sharing the pain and sharing the sadness of the Prophet and his progeny sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This ayah that I started with, the beautiful ayat from Surah Al-Furqan, describe the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. But the ayah beautifully starts with describing the servants of the Rahman. Subhanallah, today we were discussing in Surah Al-Hamd the Rahmaniyya and the Rahimiyya, the merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that introduces himself in the Holy Quran with the Rahman. This ayah starts with وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. Now you could say وَعِبَادُ اللَّهِ or الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. But the ayah starts with the servants. First, the level of ubudiyyah. Being a servant is one of in fact, the highest status that anyone could reach. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about his messenger, his final messenger, the best man who ever walked on earth. He says he is abd. He is a servant. Because he reached the level of the being a real servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This level that we address the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we address him in every salat. We say As-salamu ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. His ubudiyyah, the fact that he was a real servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the best attribute that he has. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, not وَعِبَادُ اللَّهِ, speaks about the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mufassirin, they say this is because these people have learned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. Therefore they adopted that in their life. They became the merciful people. They became the humble people. And that's why you will find this meaning becomes even stronger when الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. They walk humbly on earth. Look how beautiful this description is. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. Now, speaking about our Imam al-Mujtaba salawatullah wa salamu alayhi, he was one of this Ibad al-Rahman. He walked towards Hajj, towards Mecca. He lived in Medina. And he walked towards Hajj, towards Mecca, 25 times walking, not riding on a camel or any other thing. Walking on his feet. The humble person that he was. The servant that he was, abd, and so humble, ibadur rahman. He walked so humbly towards the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards Mecca. And every time he would walk, when people would pass by him, anybody would passing by the grandson of the Prophet, everyone knew him, and he had a very strong charisma. They say that his haiba, his charisma was so much that anyone in his presence would have nothing to say. Any believer, obviously, not the non-believers, not the enemies of Allah and His Messenger, would sit and just look at his beautiful face, the one who resembled the Prophet ﷺ. Would sit and look at him, enjoy hearing his voice, his eloquence, and his attributes that came from the Prophet and Amirul Mu'mineen sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This Imam walking to Hajj, one day one of the companions named Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. Now Sa'd has long stories and we don't want to get into it. He is actually the father. See, we discuss always the good tree and the bad tree. So we have a good tree being the tree of the Prophet ﷺ, and or the Prophet of the tree of Nabiullah Ibrahim. The purified ones become a'imma. Ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhim salam. This is the good tree. The bad tree is an example of it is Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. He had a son named Umar ibn Sa'd, la'natullah alayh, whom on the day of Ashura stood against Imam Hussein alayhi salam, throwing the first arrow, saying, "Bear witness for me, I am the first who throws the arrow." This is a bad tree. Sa'd passes by the Imam on the way to Hajj. So he says to him, "Ya ibn Rasulillah, O son of the Prophet, you walking barefooted in some narrations, but you're walking towards the Kaaba, towards Hajj, towards Mecca, makes people uncomfortable. They're riding, they have no choice but to get off their camels or their horses and walk with you. And that makes them uncomfortable." Look at the nastiness of this man. Instead of saying to him, "Thank you for setting such a good example to the nation, to the ummah," he's complaining to him. He's saying, "Your walking makes people uncomfortable. Myself, I'm an older man, but I still have to get off my camel because you're walking. I cannot ride while you're walking." Out of, supposedly respecting the Imam, but what sort of disrespect to the Imam? So you make us uncomfortable because you want to be a humble servant, you make us uncomfortable. So he says to the Imam, either get on a camel or walk outside the main road so people don't see you. Imagine the disrespect that they had for the Prophet, for Imam Ali alayhi salam, and now for Imam Hasan, this same man. Anyhow, so the Imam says to him, "I choose to take the off-road, the tariq al-wa'ara they call it, the rough road, the road that's not made smooth and gentle. I'd rather take that and not ride towards Mecca." This is the humble, wa ibadur rahman. This is one of his attributes, and did not want to bother anybody who took the off-road and walked towards Hajj. Another part of the ayah, وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. When ignorant people speak to them, address them, they say peace. Imam Hasan alayhi salam, the grandson of the Prophet, after he came back to Medina, Medina is the city of the Prophet. So many ahadith about visiting Medina after Hajj and the rewards of visiting Medina after Hajj. And therefore you'll find Muslims nowadays, it's part of their Hajj. It's not part of our Hajj as an obligatory part, but it's pretty much part of our Hajj, because actually one of the ahadith is so strong about it, that if you go to Mecca and you don't visit the Prophet, if you don't go to Hajj and you don't visit Medina, it's as if you haven't done Hajj. Such strong ahadith we have about it. Therefore, people knowing that this is the city of the Prophet, And we have to visit it after Hajj. Everybody comes to Medina, whether they come from Yemen, from Egypt, wherever they come from, they have to visit Medina. Inshallah, those who have not been to Hajj, inshallah, you will go and you will visit Medina and visit the shrine of Rasulullah and sit, pray in the Rawdah, the best place to pray in, that the Prophet says between the Minbar and my house is a Rawdah from Riyadh al-Jannah. It's a place that is actually a garden from heaven. Inshallah, we get to pray there. So people come to Medina, they respect the Prophet, they respect also the family of the Prophet. Everybody respecting the Prophet naturally respects the family of the Prophet. And those who do not respect the family of the Prophet, in other words, they do not respect the Prophet himself. They cannot claim that they are Muslims, respecting and loving the Prophet, yet they disrespect the family of the Prophet. Now some of them, they claim that there's no Muslim that openly becomes an enemy of the family of the Prophet, of Ahlul Bayt. No Muslim, openly. But in reality they do. When you have somebody who speaks about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and addressing Imam Hussein or referring to Imam Hussein, he says that, yes, we know that the Prophet, he said he's the master of youth of paradise, yet he did the wrong thing. He went and revolted against the Khalifa of his time. Therefore, he deserved to die with the sword of his grandfather. What sort of Muslim do you think this is? Obviously, this is an enemy of none but the Prophet himself. Now they're called Muslims because of their ancestors, because of the love they had for their fathers. That's the title they get, the label. There's nothing else to it. Anyhow, Imam Hasan alayhi salam in Medina, the city of his father, his grandfather, the city that everybody comes to get blessings from the Prophet and his progeny. So he had so many supporters and so many lovers. So many people would come and gift him things, and whatever they could, they come and in the love of the Prophet. Yet a man comes from Sham. I want you to imagine the situation. Forgiving is only valuable if you have the power to actually not forgive and to punish. Al-afu 'inda al-maqdira. When you have the power to punish, yet you forgive, that's when it's worth it. I want you to understand what status and what situation and what were the conditions of this story that I'm going to share with you. Imam Hasan alayhi salam, a person whom the people of Medina love and respect. And they are willing to protect him, to support him, to help him with whatever they could. A man comes from Sham, so he's a foreigner. And he starts abusing the Imam, disrespecting the Imam and his father. With whatever he could. So much that the companions were just waiting for the Imam just to give an usher, just to point to them, do something. Some of them started asking, Ibn Rasulullah, allow us to punish him. He deserves a punishment. The Imam said, no. He let him, he finished, then the Imam asked him, you seem to be a foreigner. Obviously his accent and so on. So he said, obviously you've just arrived, you're tired. We have a comfortable home. You can come visit us. Be our guest. If you're tired, come and rest in our home. If you're hungry, we feed you. If you're thirsty, we give you water. Whatever you need help, if you ran out of money as a traveler, we give you money. The man looked at the Imam. He could not believe himself, because he was told the propaganda that was going in Sham by the cursed family, Muawiyah and his people. They spoke so much that people did not know who the Prophet was, who Imam Ali was, who Imam Hasan was. They had no idea. When he saw that this is the Imam, he says, Allahu a'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalatahu. God knows who should be the real messenger and real successors of the messenger. And he becomes one of the lovers of the Imam. This is what? قالوا سلاما. This man was ignorant. He did not know the Imam. So the Imam does not have to start punishing him. We have the same from the stories of other Imams. Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. In some narrations, the 7th of Safar is the birthday of Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam. And sometimes there is a bit of conflict. Some people say we're in Muharram and Safar. Why do we have a celebration, or can we have a celebration of the birthday of Imam Musa al-Kadhim? Now this is a narration to start with. The other thing is, all our scholars, they say when it's a birthday or the martyrdom, we have to remember the Imams, but it doesn't mean that we have to hold celebration. So we remember Imam Musa al-Kadhim with what the scholars say, ذِكْرُ مَنَاقِبِهِ, to remember and share his virtues and some of his great attributes. Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam had this hilm that he learned from the forbearance and the patience that he learned from his fathers, including Imam Hasan alayhi salam, and he had a special title given to him, being al-Kadhim, the ones who suppresses and controls his anger so much, because he was always, at the time that he was from Harun al-Rashid and his family, he was subjected to the worst of the worst. Yet he was so forbearing, so tolerant, so patient. One of the examples is a similar story. A man in Medina, again, Madinatul Nabi, the city that people come and respect the Prophet and his progeny. And they all called the children of the Imams, they called them Yabna Rasulillah, the son of the Prophet. And another man comes and disrespects the Imam. The Imam does not revenge, does not punish, none of that. Instead, he asked them, who was this man? They said to him, it's so and so, he lives in the outskirts of Medina. He said, where is his farm? He had a farm apparently. He asked about his farm. The Imam went, took some lunch to the farm of this man. He started walking in his farm. The man saw the Imam. Again, he disrespects him. And he starts saying to him, if you walk on my farm and you ruin anything, you're liable to pay for it, whatever it is. The Imam brings his lunch, sits with the man, says, let's eat together. Then the man has a bite with the Imam, yet he still, see, look at the forbearance. He still disrespects the Imam. Then the Imam says to him, if we ruined anything for you, we'll pay for it. How much do you think they're worth? He said, 100 dinar or dirham. The Imam said to him, how much do you expect me to pay you for them? He said, I want 200 dirham from you. The Imam said to him, it's okay. He gave him 300 dirham. He said, this is the money for whatever we may have ruined, which we did not. The Imam said to him, nothing is ruined, look at them. The Imam left the farm. Next day, the people around Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam saw Imam Musa al-Kadhim, and saw this same man, the same people who wanted to punish this man, the same people who said, Ya Rasulullah, allow us to punish him. In fact, some narrations, they say that some of them said, let us kill him, because he's a Nasibi. Now we have this kind of extremists in all. So anyhow, the Imam had told them no. The next day, this man comes to Medina, and he comes to the Imam, and he falls at his feet, kissing them and telling them that he is sorry about what he's done, and he's regretful, and that he loves the Prophet and the progeny of the Prophet, and he bears witness that you are the son of Rasulullah. Imagine, from one extreme to another. Then the Imam said to them, is your approach better or my approach? You guys wanted to punish him, or perhaps some of you wanted to kill him. But this is the approach of Ahlul Bayt sallallahu wa sallam alayhim. يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا, they're humble on earth. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا, they say peace. They speak nothing but words that people of heaven speak, because salam is the words of heaven. إِلَّا قِيلًا Salaman, salama in Surah Al-Waqi'ah about the people of heaven. This is the words of Ahlul Bayt. They speak peace all the time. The ayat describe more about Ahlul Bayt salawatullah wa salamu alayhim and Ibadur Rahman specifically. However, you'll find that Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba salawatullah wa salamu alayhi was not just disrespected by foreigners and enemies, unfortunately by so many people who consider themselves amongst the followers of Ahlul Bayt and amongst the lovers of Ahlul Bayt, comes to Imam Hasan alayhi salam, they have so much disrespect for him. That's why he is the mazlum, he is the oppressed Imam. We call him As-salamu alayka ya Aba Muhammad, ayyuha al-imam al-masmum al-mazlum, the poisoned, the oppressed. So much oppression. At his time, people came and accused him of so much, and after him they've accused him of so much. One of the accusations, apparently he marries and divorces. And many people may have heard about this. Some people even record that he married and divorced 250 women. Now I ask these people, where did you get them from? Where in the history? Name me them. Give me names. Give us some names, if there is such a thing. The enemies put it in the mouth of people and some say it. And they also justify it. They say because he was the son of the Prophet, people wanted to be related to the Prophet, so they would bring their daughters, he would marry them, but he would have too many wives, so he would have to divorce. What sort of talk? So he would go against the purification that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala طَهَّرَهُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. In the Quran he says he purified them. He would go against that because you know what divorce is according to our rulings and our Islamic law. It's one of the worst things. أبغض الحلال. So the Imam does it because he... And where is your evidence? No evidence. Another thing, if he wanted to divorce, and this is the last point about it, if he wanted to divorce his wives for whatever reason, would he not divorce the daughter of Ash'ath? You know whom I'm talking about. He was married to Ju'da bint al-Ash'ath. Ash'ath, la'natullah alayhi wa alayha. Ash'ath is an enemy of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He had two children. One fought Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or he had some children, about two of them. Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath, you hear about him in Karbala, fought against Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ju'da bint al-Ash'ath poisoned Imam Hasan alayhi salam while she was his own wife. Now a question, would he not divorce her if he was a mutlaq, as they call him, someone who divorces easily? Would he not divorce her? But no, he was like his grandfather, Rasulullah. He was patient even when Quran said to him, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referring to some of the wives of the Prophet, he says, Asa rabbuhu in tallaqakunna, if he divorces you, meaning the Prophet divorces some of the wives, that God will replace him with better wives, and God gives the description of these wives. Yet the Prophet never divorced his wives. The same thing you'll find about Imam Hasan alayhi salam, and they call him such names. That's one sort of accusations. Another accusation, which unfortunately again many lovers of Ahlul Bayt, some knowingly, some ignorantly do it, the fact that he was a peaceful Imam. He was a man of peace. So he wasn't strong enough to fight. You know, so they compare between Imam Hasan alayhi salam and Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So Imam Hasan was a man of peace, Imam Hussein was a revolutionary person. Now I don't want to say that Imam Hussein was not a revolutionary person, but who said that Imam Hasan was not? Where did he get it from? Oh, because he had a peace treaty with Muawiyah la'natullah alayhi. I want to answer this one from the words of Imam Hasan alayhi salam, and inshallah it will be the last one, so I don't take much of your time. Imam Hasan alayhi salam was questioned by so many people around his time. In fact, some people started calling him names. They said, they would greet him saying, Assalamu alayk ya mudhill al-mu'mineen. Meaning he humiliated the believers because he made a peace treaty with Muawiyah. When they were the coward ones, They betrayed him, then they came and gave him this title. Like what they did with Imam Ali alayhi salam, his father, no difference. They forced him to have the tahkim, the judgment between him and Muawiyah, and then they said to him, why did you accept it? So you exited Islam, you have to ask for forgiveness and reiterate your shahada. They said that to Imam Ali, and now they came to Imam Hasan alayhi salam, accusing him. So one man, a friend of the Imam, but ignorant, he came to the Imam, his name Abi Sa'id. Abi Sa'id comes to the Imam, he says, Ya ibn Rasulullah, or he says, Ya ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Some narrations say, Ya ibn Rasulullah. Either way, he started asking the Imam, لِمَ دَاهَنْتَ مُعَاوِيَ وَصَالَحْتَهُ? Why did you make an agreement with Muawiyah and you signed a peace treaty with him? وَقَدْ عَلِمْتَ أَنَّ الْحَقَّ لَكَ دُونَهُ وَأَنَّ مُعَاوِيَ ضَالٌ بَاغٍ. You knew that you were the right one, you were the right leader, and that Muawiyah is on the wrong path, and also he is baghin, meaning he's a transgressor. So then the Imam said to him, Ya Aba Sa'id, ألست حجة الله تعالى ذكره على خلق تعالى ذكره على خلقه وإماما عليهم بعد أبي. He said, Ya Aba Sa'id, let us establish some facts, and this is what we have to think, this is how we have to think. He said, am I not the hujjah, the proof of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after and the Imam, the leader after my father Imam Ali alayhi salam? The Abu Sa'id said, yes, this is, I accept, this is what it is. Then he said to him, ألست الذي قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله لي ولأخي الحسن والحسين إمامان قاما أم قعدا? Am I not one of those that the Prophet said about me and my brother, that the Hasan and Hussein alayhim as-salam are leaders, whether they rise or whether they sit and they have peace? Either way, they're leaders. He said, Bala, of course you are the one. So the Imam said to him, فَأَنَا إِذَنْ إِمَامٌ لَوْ قُمْتُ وَأَنَا إِمَامٌ لَوْ قَعَدْ. So we established that I am a leader either way, whether I rise, fight, or I have peace. He said, yes, I agree. He said, Ya Aba Sa'id, عِلَّةُ مُصَالَحَتِي لِمُعَاوِيَةِ عِلَّةُ مُصَالَحَةِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمْ لِبَنِي ضَمْرَةَ وَبَنِي أَشْجَعَ. The reason why I did musalaha with these people, with Muawiyah, is the same that my grandfather, the Prophet, did the peace treaty with the people of Hudaybiyah, the Sulh, the peace treaty known as Hudaybiyah, the same reason. Then he said to him, them ones, meaning the people of the Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, the enemies of the Prophet, they were kuffar, they disbelieved in the tanzil, in the fact that there was any revelation. These people, they say that they believe in the revelation, but they disbelieve in the meanings of the revelation, in the ta'wil. So either way, they disbelievers in some sense, and I did the musalaha for the same reason. Then he said to him, Ya Aba Sa'id, إِذَا كُنْتُ إِمَامًا مِنْ قِبَلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. This is something that we have to understand. He says, if I am an Imam appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed me, and He has made my decision, the decision that He wants on earth, this is what a leader is. Ya Aba Sa'id, if this is the case, رأيي, and he wants رأيي فيما أتيته من مهادنة أو محاربة وإن كان وجه الحكمة. So if you do not know the wisdom, this is the most important part. If the wajhul hikmah, if the wisdom of the actions of the leader, of the Imam, is not obvious to you, multabisan alayk, it does not mean that you start questioning it and you start accusing the Imam. If you don't know the wisdom why I did this, you don't accuse me of being not a revolutionary and not a brave and not a courageous. Now I say this, do we forget the role of Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba salawatullah wa salamu alayhi in Jamal? Do we forget his role in Siffin? Have we not read the history? Do we not know that he was one of the main players in the Jamal, in the battle of Jamal? The main reasons and the key people that caused the victory, gave the victory to Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamu alayhim, was through him and people like him and his children. In Siffin, he was fighting so much that the narrations say Amir al-Mu'mineen asked his companions to stop Imam Hasan and Imam Hussein and bring them back. Because the Imam was saying, these are the flowers, Rayhanata Rasulullah, the flowers of the Prophet. I don't want any harm to happen to them. This is Imam Hasan. Is he scared of the war? Why was he then preparing the army? He prepared the army for around 6 months. Eventually, when they betrayed him time and time again and again, eventually he gave up on them and he gave the peace treaty. And he says to him, he says, if Musa alayhi salam did not know wajhul hikmah of what Khidr was doing. You know the story of Musa and Khidr. Khidr, first he made a hole in the ship. Then he killed a young boy. Then he fixed a wall after he asked people to feed them and they refused. He fixed a wall in their city, in their village. He did all this. Musa alayhi salam is angry with him. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this all the time? Why? Because Musa alayhi salam did not know the wisdom behind what Khidr was doing. Because God gave Khidr some knowledge that did not give Musa ala nabina wa alihi wa alayhim as-salam. And the same applies here. If we don't know the wisdom of the hikmah and the wisdom behind the peace treaty of Imam Hasan, we either try and read and find out, we ask the Imam, or we just keep quiet and not make such silly comments, accusing the Imam of not being tough, not being strong enough, not being brave enough, and not. This is why then he says in the end, he says, وَلَوْلَا مَا أَتَيْتُ لَمَا تَرَكَ وَلَمَا تُرِكَ مِنْ شِيعَتِنَا عَلَى وَجْهِ الْأَرْضِ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا قُتِلٍ. If it wasn't for what I did, there would be no follower of the Prophet and his progeny on the face of the earth, but he would be killed. That was the plan of Muawiyah. He found them weak. This is the story. This is the reality. This is the Imam. And these are the accusations. This is the oppression that the Imam was going through throughout his life and even after his martyrdom. You see, even his funeral, the lady came and poisoned the Imam. And they came to bury him. He had already told them to bury him in Baqiyah because he knew of the animosity that they have. Yet he said, just take me around the shrine, the grave of the Prophet, to renew my ahd, my covenant with the Prophet. It's a tradition. And as they were doing that, they even attacked his coffin and his body, throwing it with arrows. Imagine that. This is the animosity that they had for the Prophet and his progeny. This is the oppression that the Imam was facing. Sallallahu alayk ya Aba Muhammad, ya Hasan ibn Ali, ayyuha al-mujtaba, ya ibn Rasulillah, ya hujjat Allah ala khalqih, يا سيدنا ومولانا إنا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا عند الله يا وجيها عند الله اشفع لنا المسموم المظلوم. يا سيدي يا ابن رسول الله، ماذا قاسيت في حياتك؟ It is narrated that the poison that the Imam got from his wife by the order of Muawiyah la'natullah alayhi, it was such a strong poison that the Imam was martyred in that very night that he was poisoned. Some people survive a day, 2 or 3 after the poison, but they gave him so much poison that soon after he got it, he knew what is happening. He went and asked for Imam Hussein alayhi salam to come. Imam came to him. He sat next to him. He realized what state he is in. His face had changed. Then he said, "Oh Hussein, my brother, give me a bowl." They brought the bowl to the Imam. عظم الله لك الأجر يا صاحب الزمان. He started throwing up blood and parts of his body with the poison. When the door was knocked, he knew that Zainab is coming. He said, "Akhi ya Hussein, irfa' at-tasht. لا أريد أن تراه زينب فتعلم بحالي." I do not want my sister Zainab to see it. She had seen so much and she will see so much. She came in, she looked at the face of the Imam. His face had changed. She started saying, "Wa Imama, wa akha, wa Hasana." Imam Hussein had to farewell his brother. Soon after that he was burying him. He said, the lonely one is not the one who's traveling. The lonely one is not the poor one. The lonely one is me who is burying the brother, his flesh and his brother. And being lonely after burying his grandfather, his mother, his father, and now is only remaining of Ahlul Kisa. But Ya Hussein, you were lonely on that day, but the real loneliness was on the day of Ashura, when the Imam was calling, "Hal min nasirin yansuruna, hal min mughithin yughithuna." This time it was the son of Imam Hasan that came. His son Qasim came to the aid of his uncle, hearing the voice of his father calling for help. He said, my dear nephew, you are my beloved nephew, you are the remainder of my brother. Do not go to the battlefield. He said, my dear uncle, I cannot see you calling for help, being so lonely and not help you. I'm sure my father would have wanted me to help you. Had he been here, he would have been helping you. I don't want to not do what my father wants from me. Then he goes and he is martyred soon after that. He calls his uncle, Ammi ya Hussein. Imam comes to his body. He says, عوز على عمك أن تدعو فلا يجيبك أو يجيبك فلا ينفعك. It is so tough on your uncle that you call him. You are the trust of his brother. You call him, he cannot answer you, or if he does, he cannot help you. توفوا عطاشا بالفرات فليت ليتني توفيت فيهم قبل حين مماتي. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم بدماء الشهداء يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم. إلهي يا حميد بحق محمد، يا عالي بحق علي، يا فاطر بحق فاطمة، يا قديم الإحسان بحق الحسن، ويا محسن بحق الحسين، وبحق التسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين. استجب دعواتنا يا الله. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والذابين عنه ومقوية سلطانه. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. إلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات الشهداء والصالحين، إلى أرواح موتى الحاضرين، موتى هذا المجلس الباذلين، رحم الله من قرأ السورة المباركة الفاتحة تسبقها صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.